It's kind of a sophisticated, or maybe not so sophisticated. It's a Three Stooges movie in a lot of ways. Sort of epic in scale, hopefully sort of classic in its,
yeah,
scope.
Or put another way, it's like it's a Ma and Pa Kettle movie, but with really big production value.
We take off through that bayou.
Wait a minute. Who elected you leader of this outfit?
Well, Pete, I figured it should be the one with the capacity for abstract thought.
You sort of combine the Three Stooges with Homer's Odyssey.
You two are just dumber than a bag of hammers.
George Clooney's character is the Ulysses character.
His name is Ulysses Everett McGill, and he's on an odyssey. Going through, he meets the sirens, he meets the Cyclops.
It's all about the money, boys!
Don't get it, Big Dan.
And Holly Hunter is Penelope.
She's almost mythical. She represents home. She represents love, family love.
And yet it's, dumb guys cutting up and acting stupid.
I may be talking a little funny, first of all, in this interview because of my teeth.
We like working with John, and we like to mix it up with John.
And we got this message back that John loves his teeth. John was really, I think he got the whole character from his teeth.
I got this close to being strung up and consumed in a fire.
I always think that Joel and Ethan write from a real imaginary place anyway, so the worlds that they create are not necessarily based in reality as we know it.
Just the idea of getting a chance to work with guys like that was a thrill.
Careful that fire now, boys! You choose it, boy. The Keto Farm or the Penny Gate.
The fact that they showed up and offered me this role and said, we think you can do this, is an enormous amount of trust on their part, in thinking that I could pull it off.
George really seemed like a very logical choice to us, and we couldn't really think of anyone else. He was the first person we offered it to, and I think we would have been hard-pressed to come up with an alternative.
Background action. In the highways, in the hedges, Daddy? He ain't our daddy.
I am the only daddy you got. I am the damn paterfamilias.
And now Mama's got a new beau.
I heard about that.
It's really sweet. It's a man trying to get his wife back.
I mean, he's a really skilled actor. What we didn't know at the time, and what most people probably don't know, is that he's also a goofball, which sort of lent itself to the part as well. George is pretty funny, and in spite of how he looks, he's not given to vanity either.
Hold on now. I don't want this pomade. I want Dapper Dan.
I don't carry Dapper Dan, I carry Fop.
I'm a Dapper Dan man.
What Joel and Ethan managed to do is to really plumb certain depths with comedy. And I think if they were to listen to me right now, they'd laugh at me and say that I was a complete pretentious idiot.
Where does the humor come from? It's hard to conceive of sort of what we call a hayseed movie without a certain amount of humor in it. There's, as we were making this, we sort of decided we were probably making the Lawrence of Arabia of hayseed movies.
Say, any of you boys, Smithies and Circumstance.
I would say this movie, however, is their least violent film.
And stay out of the Woolsworth.
Well, the music is a huge part of the movie, almost to the extent that the movie kind of, while you wouldn't call it a musical, it almost operates like, it almost sort of moves like a musical because there's so much music incorporated into each of the scenes.
Go to sleep, you little baby.
At one point, the principal characters go down to a river, and there are three beautiful women washing clothes down there singing this song to seduce these guys.
How to do, ladies? Name of Pete.
Go to sleep, you little baby. Everybody's gone in the cotton and the corn. Didn't leave nobody but the baby.
Ain't you going to introduce us, Pete?
The songs all sort of figure in the story sort of naturally. They're performed by the characters, not in a musical when the characters sort of burst in unmotivatedly into song, but just in the nature of the story, the characters find themselves performing.
And Clooney sings a song called Man of Constant Sorrow. And Clooney is actually lip-syncing to the voice of a musician named Dan Tyminski.
I am the man of constant sorrow. I've seen trouble. Hot damn! This is something about a boy!
You know, I grew up in Kentucky, and we had these cloggers. It's sort of like Lord of the Dance stuff. None of their upper body moves, and their legs are just going like nuts. And I said, let me try that.
God damn! Opportunity knocks! Get out of my way! Think I'm just a stranger.
Forget what good writers they are and what smart sense of storytelling they have. They're also the most prepared directors I've ever seen.
What's really remarkable about how collaborative they are is that when you then see their movies, it feels like they're directed to within an inch of their lives.
It is Joel and Ethan. I mean, Joel has the credit of director, but it really is a collaboration with them.
We actually co-direct the movie. And really, in every respect, we co-direct the movie. If Ethan is like over at the camera where some issue comes up with the camera, then it gets discussed with Ethan. If I'm there, it gets discussed with me.
Joel might go to George and make a few comments, and Ethan might go to Tim or John Turturro or something, make a few comments. And then after the next take, Joel will go to John Turturro and Ethan might go to George. And then it's like, you know, they just swap.
It's also actually just the nature of our collaboration with a bunch of people on the set. I mean, the director of photography, Roger Deakins, is somebody that we've worked with for years now. I think this is like the 4th or 5th movie we've done with Roger.
It's an interesting experience. I say I was a bit nervous when I first met them, but it's fantastic way of working. Everybody is so in sync by the time we all are as a crew by the time we get to the first day's shooting.
It's funny how simple they are, you know, about things. They'll, you know, the way they direct you, Ethan will come over and say, you know, this kind of scene is sort of like maybe Popeye. And I'll go, you mean like, you know, well, blow me down, or like, and I go, the kind of that one. And I'll go, all right. And you do a take, and you're like, it's sort of the combination of all those things they do really well.
I've spoken my piece and counted to 3.
She counted to 3.
God damn it!
She counted to 3.
Son of a bitch!
And we are very old-fashioned in terms of just our approach to, like, the story. You want a good story with characters. You want to, you know, all the, you know, you want to laugh, you want to cry.
You just want to tell the story in the best way, and you're trying to find the best way of sort of doing that.
And in terms of our ambition, you just want people to feel, you know, like that's a real story or that's a real movie, not, you know, some guy with an Uzi in a fancy car where it's just about the Uzi and the fancy car.